If your day feels like a blur of school drop-offs, snack negotiations, and to-do lists that never end, then this video is for you. There's this quiet moment, usually after the kids are in bed. The kitchen is sort of clean, and you're sitting there scrolling or watching YouTube while folding laundry when it hits you. I'm exhausted, and I still didn't get to everything I wanted to do today. You are not alone in this feeling. When you're managing work, parenting, house duties, and being the emotional center of your family, overwhelm isn't an occasional guest, it is a full-time roommate. But what if the answer wasn't a massive overhaul? What if it was tiny habits, little shifts that you could actually stick to even when you have a full plate as a working mom? In this video, I'm going to be sharing 6 small habits that have helped me to feel more grounded and less scattered as a working mom. These aren't your fix your life by 5 a.m. kind of habits. They're gentle, they're doable, and they're designed to work with your life, not against it. Welcome to Reclaim and Reset with Luna, where I help busy, overwhelmed women shift from burnout and survival mode to a life that actually feels a little bit more balanced through mindful productivity, time management strategies, and realistic habits that fit into your day. So let's get into the 6 tiny habits that can help your day feel less overwhelming, even with kids. And be sure to stick around for the bonus habit where I give you a tip on how to reset your day in just 2 minutes. Habit number 1 is to start your morning on your terms. So if your mornings feel like chaos from the second your feet hit the floor, try waking up just 10 to 15 minutes before your kids. I know this seems hard. I have one that gets up at 6:30, and then if I get up at 6:15, she gets up at 6:15. But you'll find that little sweet spot. Just try waking up that 10 to 15 minutes before your kids. Not to work, not to clean, just to breathe. And use that time to sip your coffee hot. Not when you've microwaved it or reheated it 5 times, but the actual first time you pour it into the mug, you stir it up with your favorite creamer, and you get to just sit there and sip it hot, right? While you're doing this, write yourself a quick intention for the day, or even just sit there in silence, because sometimes that's what we really need. It doesn't have to be profound. It just needs to be yours, right? You can even pair this with a super minimal morning rhythm for the family. So think the same easy breakfast every single weekday. Maybe it's a morning playlist that sets the tone and the energy with your kids for the day. Or it could be one tote by the front door, which has backpacks, shoes, lunch boxes, hats, sunscreen, whatever it is that you need, all in that one tote. This isn't about being hyper organized. It's about reducing the decision fatigue and giving everybody, including you, a more peaceful start to their morning. Okay, habit number 2 is to create a shared family calendar, one that actually works for you. So let's be real, between school events, dentist appointments, soccer practice, and spirit days, keeping it all in your head is a full-time job. And quite frankly, it doesn't work. You're going to forget something, which may or may not trigger a meltdown from your child. Move it out of your brain and into a shared calendar. We use a paper calendar in our house along with an app because my partner just refuses to go digital, but you can just pick one or the other. Apps like Google Calendar or Cozy let you color code events by family member. So you know pink is for this person, green is for this person, orange is for this person, right? Kind of helps your brain set that trigger and remembering, associating the code with the family member. You can set reminders, and then you can also sync your calendar with your partner if they're getting on board with that. And here's the twist. Involve your kids. Let them add their activities into this app. Let them be the ones to tell you when they have this practice or when they have to stay after school for track and field practice or whatever happens to be going on. Show them how to check the day's plan. My 10-year-old loves knowing what's going on in the day. She loves knowing who's picking her up from school, what we're having for dinner, what activities are going on in the evening. She loves logging into that app to be able to see exactly what's going on. Even younger kids can start to understand what's happening when, which reduces last minute chaos, and it helps them feel more involved in the plan or the week of what's going on. You can do a quick calendar check-in on Sunday nights. I'm talking like 5 minutes tops, right? Tack it on to dinner if you need to. Before anyone gets dessert, we're going to do a quick review of the calendar, right? Then you sit down and you do the run through of the week and ask anybody if they have anything they need to add. Is there any different meals that they want to request or something like that, right? This again helps prevent the meltdown the day of. And then everyone gets to celebrate by having dessert. Yay, we finished our calendar review. Okay, now you guys can have dessert, right? It's a tiny habit that saves you from playing air traffic controller all week long. Okay, so habit number 3 is to breathe on purpose, not just by default, right? This one might sound too simple, but I promise it is powerful. When you are feeling overwhelmed, your nervous system is in overdrive. And one of the fastest ways to regulate it is intentional breathing. So try this. I want you to try breathing in for 5 seconds, holding that for 5 seconds, and then exhaling for 7 seconds. And you repeat that 3 times. Do it when you're waiting in the carpool lane or when you're in the bathroom, because yes, sometimes that's the only moment you get to yourself when the kids are awake. Want to try and make it a family thing? Try belly breathing with your kids before dinner or for bedtime. My youngest likes to do that. She sits her hand on her belly and she lays there and she closes her eyes and we do some belly breathing at bedtime because she is a child that just takes a long time to calm down and decompress from her day. You can even use apps like Calm or Headspace for guided options. Here's the thing, guys. Breathing is free. It's free. It takes less than a minute to do this 5-5-7 breath pattern, and it tells your body you're safe. You can slow down now, right? This one small habit is really helpful, really beneficial. You can take it on the go. You can do it whenever you need it. It's something you can just pull out of your little toolbox to help you just reset and be able to manage that next thing that is going to be coming at you. Okay, so habit number 4 is to declutter just one tiny area, not the whole house, right? Just one small space. Because overwhelm isn't just emotional, it is visual too. When every surface of your house is cluttered, your brain feels cluttered too. But you don't need to do a weekend-long overhaul. You don't need to send the kids off to grandma and grandpa so that you can tackle this big project. Start with just one drawer, one toy bin, one shelf even, right? One corner of the counter. Set a timer for 10 minutes and involve your kids. Make it a treasure hunt, right? Let them see what they can find that they still love and then maybe what can be donated. The reason why this works is you get a visible win fast. And so therefore your brain gets that tiny dopamine hit that we all love, and you prove to yourself that change is possible in a way that doesn't leave you more exhausted. It doesn't need to take a whole bunch of time in your calendar. We don't need to try and block off an entire morning to tackle this. And over time, these micro declutters, these tiny little moments that we just tackle that one drawer, they lead to major shifts in how your home feels for you. Habit number 5 is protect your wind down hour. So let's talk about evenings, because a chaotic night routine will sabotage your energy for the next day. So start by choosing a wind down time. Maybe it's 7:30, maybe it's 8:30, right? Pick what works for you depending on what you've got going on and what time your kids are going to bed, and treat it like a sacred boundary. From that point on, the lights dim, the screens go off, yes, even yours if you can, and everyone gets into low stimulus mode. So even though my oldest is 10 now, we still start this wind down time at 7:30. We remove them from in front of the TV, we remove the iPad from the vicinity. Like I said, we dim the lights, we get them into their pajamas, right? We start that bedtime routine even though they're not going to bed at 7:30. It's just to kind of help everybody wind down a little bit. You don't have to do the same thing every night, but you can consider building in different habits like reading together or listening to calming music or doing a gratitude practice with your kids. Even just brushing your teeth with them and chatting about their day, whatever that looks like, this is going to be signaling that wind down routine. So like I said, in our house, we start this at 7:30. We get backpacks ready for the next day. We have them pick out their clothes and set them on top of their dresser. Then they get on their pajamas and brush their teeth. We feed the fish. And then my older one reads while I snuggle with my younger one, right? I put on calming music. We talk about her day. I always ask her what the best part of her day was and what's one thing that she was grateful for. And then we snuggle quietly for a few more minutes. When I leave her room, she's still awake, but She has quieted her body. This wind down habit trains your nervous system and your kid's nervous system to transition into that rest mode. And bonus, kids who sleep better means moms who breathe easier, means moms who get their evenings back to themselves. Okay, so habit number 6 then is to create a family gratitude ritual. And this one is small but mighty. Maybe at dinner time or at bedtime, like I just mentioned, or during that wind down window, go around and answer, what's one thing that you're grateful for today? And it can be tiny. I teach your kids, it can be the sun came out today, I liked my lunch, no one fought during breakfast, right? You can even keep a little family gratitude journal in the kitchen or on a nightstand and let your kids decorate it, add drawings to it if they're too young to write. Whatever it is, you're teaching them to build this practice into their day as well. And why does this work? Why is this helpful? Well, it builds emotional resilience. It teaches our children to build that emotional resilience. It creates connection between us without requiring those deep conversations, which as your children get older and maybe start transitioning into the preteen or teenage years, you're going to want to have that connection, even if they're not wanting to give you that deep conversation. It helps us shift our focus in the day from what went wrong to what went right. And for you, the one who is carrying it all, it reminds you that even on those messy days, there are those little moments of magic. There are those little moments that we could enjoy. And bringing those to the forefront can really help us feel like we can manage everything we've got going on just that little bit better. Okay, now for that bonus habit that I promised you. This is the 2-minute reset. And this one is for the days when it feels like everything is falling apart. So I want you to set a 2-minute timer and just do one of the following things. Either put away 5 things that are causing clutter and just driving you absolutely nuts. Do a brain dump in your notes app or on a piece of paper. Go for a walk outside just for 2 minutes. It might just be up and down your driveway, pace a little bit on the sidewalk, whatever that looks like. Or even just close your eyes and do those cycles of that 5-5-7 breath for that 2-minute span until the timer goes off. You don't need a full reset. You maybe don't have time to set aside for a 30-minute meditation. You just need a small moment of pause. And 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, can shift your energy enough for you to make it through to the next hour. And sometimes that's the win, guys. Sometimes it's just making it to the next hour. You can then do another 2-minute reset if that's needed in your day again. So let's take a breath together and run through these one more time. Here are your 6, plus a bonus, tiny habits to make your day feel a lot less overwhelming. The first one is start your morning with a few minutes of peace to yourself. Use a shared family calendar to reduce that mental overload. Practice intentional breathing alone or with your children. Declutter one tiny space at a time. Create a calm wind down routine every night for your children and for yourself. Start family gratitude rituals that build connection, and that bonus, that 2-minute reset. That is your secret weapon on those really, really tough days. And these aren't big, flashy changes. They're little shifts that compound over time. They give you breathing room. They help you stay connected to yourself, and they remind your kids that calm is something we create, not something that we wait for. If this video gave you an idea, a spark, or even just a deep breath, I am so glad you're here. You don't need to do all 6 habits today. Pick one, start small, and let it grow, because this journey that we're on, it's not about perfection. It's about creating space to feel like yourself again. If you want more support in building habits that actually work for your real life, then hit that subscribe button and check out this video next. Until next time, remember, you've got this. Keep showing up for you, and I will see you in the next video.